Let's get right to him. He is the titan of transactions, the conquistador of contracts. It's Rich Rosenstein.
So Suzanne seems to have walked away, but I'm doing this whole program for her because she asked me what I did last week. And
Chris, real quick, before we get started, I just want to make sure, is it okay to record you?
Yeah, it's okay to record me. I'm not going to be saying it. Basically, I'm reintroducing myself.
Okay.
I joined the LeTip chapter in 2014 when I walked into TD Bank, and the manager was Joe Scandato. And I was opening up my first business account in the state of Florida. And he said to me, "Do you want to show up at a meeting? We have this thing called LeTip." And we were across, we were on the hotel where they were serving the brick bagels. And, it was just the beginning of my actually meeting anyone here. So give you a little background. Like Joe, I was born in Brooklyn. My father took off immediately for the cheap labor, and I spent my first 13 years in Roanoke, Virginia, the star city of the South, and then we moved back to Brooklyn. I practiced law in Massachusetts, basically most of my career, mostly at larger firms of over 100 lawyers. And then in 2013, silly me, I moved down to Florida and took the bar exam down here and knew nobody and had no contacts. Most of my career I spent basically in the insolvency bar in Massachusetts, which was kind of an interesting group of people. We were known as the bankruptcy ring in those days because everybody sort of knew everybody else. It was in the days when the judge used to say, "Rich, can you come up to the bench? I want to talk to you about this." And it would have nothing to do with what you're working on. So it was a little different world. So what am I doing now? Okay, Suzanne, you're back. I'm explaining what I do. Basically, as a business lawyer, I'm sort of the general practitioner or family practitioner for your company. Whether it's a startup, basically helping you figure out what you want to do as far as forming the business, what kind of tax status you want. But also, as a good general practitioner, I'm also the person to say to you, "Gee, that's not a question for me. You need to talk to fill in the blank." Whether it's Suzanne because you want a divorce, or Elise because you've got wills and trust issues, or asset protection issues, or Leland if it's a real estate issue, or if it's an issue having to do with your taxes, you got to talk to Dustin. So what I'm really there to do is act as a filter for you, deal with a lot of your day-to-day operations. I mean, for example, if any of you are operating in a corporate form, one of the things I find is that people will form a corporation, and then 5 or 6 years later, you'll go back and say, "Well, where are your annual minutes? You have to have an annual meeting if you're a corporation. Where's this? Where's that?" The other thing that we're finding all the time is people will basically form LLCs, limited liability companies, and basically get a sort of a boilerplate operating agreement, and then basically go out and ignore it and to undertake obligations, do things, and all of a sudden they're at a situation where someone says, "Well, I need to see the operating agreement. I need to figure out whether you had the authority to enter into this." And the answer was no, because the boilerplate didn't provide for it. Or they've been making distributions for taxes and haven't been doing it properly under what they originally signed. So part of what I do is just maintenance. I have a number of clients who just pay me a monthly retainer just to be available, to look at their corporate documents. And also the other thing I've been spending a lot of time on recently is the standard contract documents between my clients and their customers. One of the things that we're finding with certain clients, we will spend a lot of time putting together their customer documents. They'll present them to a client. The client will be an important client for them. The client will turn around and say, "No, I'm not going to sign this. Here's my form." So we get the battle of the forms. And the first question I get is, I've got to sign this tomorrow. Is there any problem with my signing this? Well, yeah, there's a lot of problems with your signing this. All the stuff we worked on to limit your liability, to protect you, to get you paid in an orderly fashion is all reversed in the document that you're being asked to sign. The other thing I've been running into recently is that a few of my clients will say, oh, I got this from this other company that I used to work at. Well, there are two issues with that. Number one, is that basically something that you're not supposed to be using because you signed an agreement with that company saying you wouldn't use any of their information. So you've got a confidentiality agreement with them, number one. And number two, what I'm finding is it, for example, will have a choice of law for a state where nobody's located because it's somebody else's form, or it will have provisions in it as to terms and conditions of payment that my clients never even looked at. So what I try to do is I try to counsel the client, be available for them, whether it's on a transactional basis or whether it's on a monthly basis, depending on what you want to do, and help them through the various stages, right from formation to sale of the company or acquisitions as the things go on. But more importantly, to pick up the phone, when they pick up the phone and say, we're about to acquire a new building in such and such. Oh, hi, I think you really need to talk to Leland. He's my real estate guy. Or I've got an insurance, when we had commercial insurance people in here, I used to utilize our commercial insurance people a lot. I wish we had another one in our group for insurance issues that come up. A lot of time, many times, there are estate and trust issues that come up that I absolutely am not going to touch. So my other major function in life is saying, I don't really handle that. Here's who does. And that's the other big thing about being a member of LeTip. Alex, how much time do I have left?
20 seconds.
Okay. The big thing to me about LeTip is it is very important as a business lawyer to have a network of people that you can send other people to, because that makes you look good. That's basically how you act as the general practitioner for your client. Any questions?
Okay, so what we've done is we've actually put the questions are to be able to reach out to you later, Rich, due to the time.
Great.
So what we have is, again, as you all know, Rich will be highlighted on our Facebook channel. Marilyn does an awesome job at that. If you have worked with Rich, I mean, if anybody in this call hasn't worked with Rich, please go on to Facebook, write something about Rich. We want to boost that Facebook. Also, Mitch will be putting this on our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to go back and learn more about Rich and what he does. Where are you at, Suzanne?
I'm here. Good morning, everyone. I am Suzanne Mandich, the family law attorney of the group. Statistics for divorce are pretty high, so it's very important that you have the right person helping you navigate you through the process, holding your hand and giving you exact, correct, honest, truthful advice with a reality of what the expectation should be, so that you're not sitting there for years and years fighting over money, that all you're doing, the only person that's making any money are the lawyers. Not that we're complaining, but shouldn't be the ones making the money. So if you want somebody to help you navigate divorce, or if you want to think about it in advance and do a good prenup so that you're not arguing as much when the time comes, or my favorite is helping you with adoptions, I'm here to help you. Thank you very much, Suzanne Mandich.
Awesome job. Very nice. Very nice. Appreciate that.